Well, thank you very much for joining me in this video. I got an interesting phone call this past week from one of our agents with a question about a listing she was in the process of taking. Her clients were fix and flip clients who did restorations, refreshes, whatever. They bought a property and they wanted to resell it. They were not novice to this. The situation in this particular thing that set it apart was they had not only redone the property, they ripped it right down to the foundation. Everything, roof, walls, windows, doors, everything right down to the foundation, and they built a brand new house on the foundation. Well, when it came time to the listing, they didn't want to show 60-year-old house renovated. They wanted to show new house. And the agent called me and said, can I get away with advertising it as a new house? As soon as I heard the word new, kind of like Pavlov's dog, the thing that jumped to my mind is Tarion. Tarion looks after new homes and is obligated, or we are obligated when we're selling a new home, to make sure it's registered with Tarion. So when we use the term new, is it covered with Tarion? Is it obligated on Tarion? And before I come back to that, I want to take a minute and just refresh your memory about Tarion. Tarion is a consumer protection organization established by the government of Ontario that administers the province's new home warranty program under the Ontario New Home Warranty Plan Act. And if we look at their mandate, their charter, if you like, this is specifically what it says. Listen up, it's very important how it's worded. Anyone in the province of Ontario who plans to build a home for the purpose of sale or sells a new home must be registered with Tarion. So the implication is if you're building it with the intent of selling it, or if you are, as an agent, selling a new home, it's got to be registered with Tarion. So we look back at this property, built brand new from the foundation up, and is it eligible for Tarion? Is it obligated to have a Tarion warranty? Let me take a minute and refresh your memory on what Tarion covers. First of all, prior to occupancy, Tarion covers deposit protection, if there's any problem there, or delays on closing. And that can be a condo or a single-family home or whatever. In the first year, from the date you possess the property, it covers defects in material and workmanship. It also covers unauthorized substitution. I ordered and sanctioned Pella windows. They put in a different trade-wind windows or something different. Over the first 2-year period, it covers water penetration. So you may have a leak in your basement. It didn't show up in the first year, shows up in the second year. That's covered under Tarion. And heating and electrical issues are also covered in Tarion in the first 2 years. But there's also a coverage that runs 7-year period. And that 7-year period covers major structural defects. Things like the foundation, cracks, distortion, displacement of structural load-bearing elements in the home are covered up to 7 years. So that's the coverage you get in Tarion. Makes a big difference when you're buying a new house. The people who will be buying this particular property, the question is, will it have a Tarion warranty? So the agent called Tarion, and it was interesting what their answer was. They said, if the foundation hasn't been altered, the house is ripped right down to the foundation, it doesn't require Tarion, nor is it eligible for Tarion. They said if you had removed the foundation and poured a new foundation, or even if you'd altered the foundation to change the footprint on the lot, then it would be classified as a new home and you'd be obligated to have Tarion. So this particular one, they said make sure it's advertised properly. You can explain that it's a new house on an existing foundation. A consumer needs to know what they're getting, but they need to know that it's not covered by Tarion. And let me say to you as a real estate agent, it's very, very important that you understand and make this distinction. We had a situation some years ago where we listed a property that was owned by a builder who had built the property, and he did not have a Tarion warranty. I don't know how they got alerted, but all of a sudden, Tarion was all over us, wanting us to justify why we were listing this property, accusing us of going behind Tarion's back. The property didn't have a Tarion warranty. It goes right back to that original statement that I said, where it says anyone plans to build for the purpose of sale. And the argument from the builder was something statistic happened in his home configuration. It was a husband-wife breakup or something, but he had intended on building the property for his own use, and something came up and he couldn't go ahead with that plans, and so he was now selling the property but didn't have a Tarion warranty. And we had all kinds of obligations to prove that we hadn't bypassed Tarion's regulation. So when you are involved in something that's a new home, new construction, yes, you as a homeowner, you can contract to have a house built for your use because it's not planned for resale and it won't have Tarion warranty. You can also have a brand new house and have it rented out for a year and then sell it. You didn't build it as a new home for sale. But you've got to be very, very careful. So reviewing it, make sure you understand Tarion. You hear the word new, do your homework and make sure you understand whether the property should have a Tarion warranty, and if so, make sure it does. If it's supposed to have a Tarion warranty and it does not have a Tarion warranty, don't take the listing. Hope that makes sense. Thank you for joining me in this video. I'd like to talk to you again next week.